1050, your true local station.
It's that time, ladies and gentlemen, live from Hawaii. This is the Roseanne Barr Talk Radio Show. And now, here's Roseanne Barr.
Oh, hello. Kathleen. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'm Roseanne Barr, and this is my co-host this week, Kathleen Wells, who also has a show on this radio station, and whom I first met. Boy, it's been about, how long has it been? About 8 years?
Oh, no, not that long. You're dating us. You're aging us. We're not that old. We're not that old.
I'm so bad on years. How many years ago did we meet?
I think it was like 3 or 4 years, Roseanne. Don't say 8 or 10. That makes us sound...
I know. I'm bad on time, but...
That makes us sound so old. But, you know, what I do want to say is that the entire... Welcome back.
Thank
because you were on hiatus, and the entire KCAA family wants to give you a big welcome back, Roseanne. We're glad you're here.
Thank you, guys. Nice to be back. You guys won't feel that way in a week or two when I have no idea of how to operate a Skype.
No, you know what? For my show, Palestine Today, we have really gotten really savvy about operating Skype. In fact, we have guests from Egypt and Palestine.
Love.
Isn't that fantastic? Yuri Avery from Israel was on.
Oh, my God. I missed him. He's my idol.
Well, he said some things that were quite, controversial, actually, Roseanne. But it would have been fantastic. Maybe we can get him on this show, huh? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'd love it.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, so
today I'm going to be playing the part of an old woman who can't figure out what the heck's going on, and in the world, especially around the whole Syria, all of it. I have a lot of questions, and we have some experts on to answer them today, don't we, Kathleen?
We have some experts on to answer it, and in fact, the question is, we're going to focus on Syria, and right now, I'm trying to get my computer, my laptop up with all the information I had written because I didn't connect it. But what I want to say is that we're going to focus on Syria. We have 2 Middle East experts, Jeffrey Blankfort and Gilbert Mercier, and I can tell you a little bit about them before we bring them on. But the question is, we've got 5 warships in the Middle East, in the Mediterranean Sea, and these warships are equipped with...
Are these U.S. or Russian?
There are 5 U.S. warships in the Mediterranean as we speak, and they're equipped with Tomahawk missiles. So the question is, although President Obama yesterday informed us that he's going to place a pause on his strike on Syria, do we think that a strike on Syria is the right thing to do? Do we think that because there are chemical weapons, we are told that there were chemical weapons used by the Assad regime on the Syrian people, that the United States should attack Syria, should attack strategically Syria? It's called a surgical strike, as if there won't be collateral damage. So that's the question, and that's what we're going to explore with our experts, Jeff Blankfort and Gilbert Mercier. So,
are any of them on the line yet?
Are they on the line yet, Joe?
Yes, they are.
Well, actually, I ask one question before. I just want to know one thing. It stuck in my mind. The missiles that are on the Tomahawk missiles they don't seem like. Are they the right weapon for a surgical strike?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. So why don't we ask the experts about that? Because I know nothing, absolutely nada, about military equipment. In fact, I think Gilbert, one of his pieces, he talks about, you know what, let me bring up the information. He is the editor for News Junkie Post, and in one of his articles, he wrote specifically about the fact that the Tomahawk missiles is manufactured by a company that John McCain has some interest in, either directly or indirectly. So, Gilbert, did I say that right?
Yes, you did. I'm not sure. I'm actually. You can hear me because
We
the
can hear you.
was kind of. Okay, great. It's not John McCain. It's John Kerry, who has a special connection with a company that manufactures the Tomahawk missiles. That is called Raytheon, which is based in John Kerry's home state. And as recently
well,
as
that
May,
answers whether it's a surgical, an actual surgical military strike or not, doesn't it? I think
right.
that was my key into, my supposition is that, this is just a threat. This is just a big parade.
Well, it is a threat, and it's sort of like, in a way, if you can excuse my language, sort of a pissing contest. And Obama has kind of cornered himself into a situation which is not really good for anybody, because it's punishing people on the pretense of being humanitarian is a joke coming from America. It's what I've called in some of my articles humanitarian imperialism. It's basically, we're going to teach you a lesson.
Right.
And this country has no right to teach anybody a lesson.
But it doesn't, I really, that's a matter of opinion. But if they are teaching someone a lesson, why would they be, what reason are they, I've tried to read their minds, basically, and figure out why they're doing what they're doing, but why would they feel they need to teach a lesson to, first of all, who are they teaching it to, for God's sake? And two, why do they feel like they need to do that?
Right. Well, it's teaching a lesson to Assad, and they feel like they need to do that because about a year ago, President Obama defined as a red line the use of chemical weapons.
But this sarin gas that they're finding there now, wasn't that was also somewhere else first, right? Wasn't it in Egypt?
No, it wasn't in Egypt. In May, a couple of people from Al-Nusra, which is part of the so-called Free Syrian Army, were intercepted carrying about 2 kilograms of sarin gas in Turkey. There's also been allegation that Saudi Arabia, namely the Prince Bandar bin Sultan, is, and I repeat its allegation, is actually behind the sarin gas attack.
That's what I have read that Prince Bandar, the Bush's business partner, he's kind of. Did you read that thing about him saying the other day? I guess it was about 2 days ago, where he was trying to make a deal with Putin to keep Russia out of there.
Right. He tried to make a deal with Putin, indeed, by saying, okay, we will buy $1 billion of weapons from you if you don't back up Assad, and basically Putin laughed. He also, which was not reported as much, but I got that from sources in Moscow, he basically said to Putin in a vague threat that he is behind all the Islamist, Chechen and so on in Russia. So that was sort of a vague threat, and it's basically what we would do. I'm saying we in terms of the U.S. and actually my own country, because I'm a French national, and France would do, is sort of fight the war on behalf of Saudi Arabia and Israel if they do strike in Syria. I mean, the thing is, there's one thing about morality, which is also a complete dubious argument, and there's another thing about smart geopolitics. And we should really think in terms of smart geopolitics.
Right, exactly.
Well,
You know,
why don't we? No, go ahead. Complete your thought.
And what's going to happen, because I am not sure, and that they are running in Paris and Washington, mainly in Washington, all the geopolitical scenario. They're saying that Iran might strike Israel, but that's not the only option. As a matter of fact, Iran might decide to strike all the oil fields in Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and basically shut down the Strait of Hormuz. And then we would have oil prices shooting up to like $200 or $300 a barrel. And we would have another global, and I'm not talking about a recession now, I'm talking about a global depression. Because, they can do a lot of damage.
So do you think, like a lot of people do, that that Iran is a big, scary, box that we should do anything to keep closed?
I'm not, the thing is, it's not, Iran has been an ally of Syria for a very long time, and there's also another player in the region, which is very important, which is Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Right.
Hezbollah is Shiite, and ever since Hezbollah got involved in the Syrian proxy war, Assad has been making very, very big military progress.
Well, you know what? Let me introduce our two guests officially, because I didn't have an opportunity to do that because my laptop was down. Now my laptop is up. So let me give an official introduction to both our guests. Gilbert Mercier is a French journalist, photojournalist, and filmmaker based in the United States since 1983. He is the co-founder and editor-in-chief of News Junkie Post, and he frequently appears on RT, which is Russian Today television. And now I want to bring forth Jeff Blankfort, who is a frequent guest on my show. He's a Middle East analyst who has written extensively on the Israel-Palestine conflict. He is the former editor of the Middle East Labor Bulletin, a photojournalist, and currently hosts a program on international affairs called Takes on the World for KZYX, the public radio station of Mendocino County in California. So,
yay, public radio!
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, Jeff, welcome to the show with me and Roseanne.
I'm glad to be
Roseanne and I.
on with you, and I listened to Gilbert, and I agree with everything he said so far. Most of the public is not really aware of the extent of the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Prince Bandar. He has been very closely working, if not an asset, with the CIA through the presidency of a number of presidents. And also today we have the Saudis and the Israelis are very closely working together because they have joint enemies in Iran and in Syria. And so this gives them a double clout on Capitol Hill. At one point, in period for no national interest, there was conflict between Syria and Israel, but there hasn't been for years. And the Saudis have an interest because they have seen the prominence and power of the Sunnis, the dominance in the Arab world, disappear with the emergence of Iran as a power, and thanks to the United States, the overthrow of Saddam Hussein overthrew Sunni rule over what was Mesopotamia for centuries and put the Shia